episode 106. I think we should call this the Mookie Betts episode because he
106?
106 pounds right now.
That's how much he weighs right now?
No, but did you heard like, what happened, right?
I have seen that he's lost like 20-something pounds.
They said he lost 23 pounds.
Yeah, jeez.
So, for those of you that don't know, Mookie Betts was already not a super big guy. And he caught flu that the doctors they don't have a diagnosis for it. They don't know what it was. But they said he could not eat solid food without vomiting for 15 days. And he lost 15 pounds and was in jeopardy of not being on the lineup today. But he is. So, do you have anyone
to see how he plays? Just with that whole, I mean, you know how much of baseball is routine and
it's
all the
probably going to be a
stuff.
lot of shallow pop-ups.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like, dude, yeah.
And he swings a heavy bat for how big he is, or I should say how small he is. So I'm interested to see if he'll try to swing a lighter bat tonight or what, you know.
Watch him hit the warning track with something. It's going to be like, dude, if that was 100, I think he says he was actually like 170 normally, and now he's 150. But yeah, watch him hit the warning track, and that's going to be the conversation, is if he had his 20 pounds.
Yep.
And dude, we were talking about this before. If you losing weight's one thing, but sick weight, that's
different.
Like,
yeah,
that's all your strength and energy, and everything's gone. So
yep.
Do you have a legit celebrity, though, that could be around 100?
First one that came to mind this week was Danny DeVito. Danny DeVito, right?
He's got to be heavier than well, he's so short, but that guy is shaped like one of those eggs on Alice in Wonderland.
He's short. Then Hayden Panettiere.
Yeah,
I don't know
from
yeah.
What is that football movie? Remember the Titans?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, she's a kid in that one, but but I thought she's not very big either.
Do you know who she's married to, or who she was married to?
No, I have no idea.
She was married to one of the Klitschko brothers. I think Vladimir Klitschko, the big, huge 6'6". Yeah. And there's like some pretty funny viral pictures of them standing next to each other.
Nice.
And she's like up to his hip.
Tiny. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good one. She's got to be close.
I think she's only like 5 feet tall. She's really short.
Yeah, that might be better than mine. I thought I had a pretty good one. I picked Sarah Hyland, Modern Family.
Yeah, Modern Family, yeah.
Haley, for those that need the real name, Haley from Modern Family. Yeah. She's tiny. She got to be.
She's got to be small, yeah.
Claire Dunphy's probably 106, too. She's skinny. Yeah.
Skinny.
Yeah.
But she seems taller, too, so I don't know. Maybe they just do a good job portraying her as being taller. But Jada Pinkett Smith was the other one I thought of, too, because she's short.
Is she short?
Yeah, I don't even think she's like 5 feet tall. I think she's like 4'11" or something. She's short.
Really?
Yeah.
See, when I think I just think of bald. Yeah. When I think of
right?
That's the first thing that comes to my mind. Is just a little grumpy bald lady.
Yeah. Let me see.
An open marriage.
I'm going to look her up. I'm going to look up.
What a disaster of a family.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
That's
Jada Pinkett Smith, personal details, height 4'11.5".
Oh my gosh, that is so tiny.
That's tiny.
We were 4'11" when we were probably 10.
I was going to say, Cammy's 7, and I feel like she's already coming up on that.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
4'11.5". Could you? I'm sitting down, and I feel like I'm 4'11" right now, sitting down. This is how she sees the world all the time.
What a different experience in life.
Totally different experience.
Well, and like, have you ever done, I feel like every tall person's done this, where you've like been somewhere and you've squatted to see what it would look like if you were shorter.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I've done it at like Disneyland, and it's like, dude, I can't see anything. Like, if you put yourself at 5 feet tall, your whole perspective of life and the things you see and know, because you and I, when we're places, we see over.
Yeah.
Pretty much everybody.
Anything, yeah.
Right. But man, if you chop yourself down to 5 feet tall, and if you're 5 feet tall listening to this podcast, you know, I'd love to see a day in your little shoes.
I have
what that would look like.
A really good friend, Chantal, who's like 5'2", and she was standing on one of those like lifetime plastic chairs.
Yeah.
She was like hanging something up high, and we were basically eye to eye while she was standing on that thing. And she looked over at me and had this realization. She was like, wait, this is how you see the world all the time?
Yeah.
Like, literally all the time.
Yeah.
I see the top of people's refrigerators. Like, I can see that. And that doesn't, that's not abnormal for me. but I realize it's very abnormal for most people.
Yeah, are you do you set things on high places, like at houses or
all the time?
Mhm.
On accident, not really thinking about it, because I'm like, I know I can reach this.
Yeah.
And like, even when we redid our kitchen and I put some storage above our refrigerator, I'm like, this is so great. We can keep all these pans out of the way. They're easy to get to. And Bree is like, I cannot reach them. I have to have a step stool to get up there to get anything.
So I'm going to let a little secret out here. This is what I do when I go to someone's house. And we're going to be there for a while. A lot of people stick their wallet, their keys on, maybe a little entry door table or something.
Sure.
And once in a blue moon, if it's there, I'll do that. But if I ever want to empty my pockets out of someone's house, and I will do this anywhere. You know where I set it? On top of the fridge.
Yeah, because it's not going anywhere.
Yep. So I'll take my keys, my wallet, my pocket knife, and I'll just walk into the kitchen, like if we're hanging out, and I'll set it on the top because I just know it's there, and then no one else is going to see it up there.
And no one even
now, if I was
looks
at your
for it.
house and I put my stuff on it, you'd see it. You'd be like, "Oh, Justin put his wallet on top of the fridge."
But what is he
most
doing?
people, have no idea it's up there, and so when I leave, I just know all my stuff's on top of the fridge. But yeah, that's stuff that people like Chantal probably don't.
Never even thought of. I'm sure.
No, she's probably sticking it under the little space under the dishwasher or something. I don't know. I don't know.
Who knows?
But what's up with the Bogart family, man?
Dude, I got some stories.
Okay. Story
this week. We've talked a lot about working out and the whole health and fitness thing. And, I've said it before, like when someone gives you the littlest compliment over how you look, after you've been putting in a lot of work, it feels really good.
It goes a long ways.
It goes a long ways. Well, I've found out that the opposite is true as well. I was sitting in the kitchen. We were making breakfast for dinner, and I was making eggs. And the song came to mind, because this is, as dads, we do this. The song came to mind from Beauty and the Beast. Like Gaston, how he eats eggs. Like, I think he says he eats...
To be roughly the size of a barge?
Yeah, to be roughly the size of the barge. And I start singing that, and Cammie goes, Dad, you're not as big as Gaston. And I was like, that hurts. That hurts.
Yeah.
It just kicked in the metaphorical balls,
Yeah.
Like, I've been putting in all this work, been feeling pretty good. I did chest day, so I was feeling the pump still. And then Cammie's like, you're not as big as Gaston. And Bree was like, I'm happy you're not as big as Gaston, to try like make it better. I'm like, I don't want to hear that. I want giant freaking forearms.
Gaston
I want to be the
man.
size of a barge, dude. He has some character issues, but
yeah, but did he like I actually was gonna say this. I just saw a video, one of those like stupid, videos that was like talking about how like Gaston, outside of his ego, was like a great guy.
Like trying to do the right thing. He was trying to protect the city and
from the beast. And then those three little cute twins or those triplets liked him, and he didn't want anything to do with them. Yeah. He wanted the girl with he wanted the one with the nose in the book.
Yeah.
Yep. He was trying.
He was trying, man.
And
things went south for him.
We paint this bad picture of him, and we all have our bad days, and we can all be a little narcissistic or egotistical, but like if he was a bad guy, he would have been in the back with those triplets, and he wasn't.
Right. Yeah.
He was like, everyone at the bar loved him.
Yeah.
They're all singing about him. The people liked him.
Yeah.
I think
he was liked by the town. It's true.
Yeah, and he went and fought the local beast who had held someone captive. But, no one treats him that way.
No one looks at him that way.
On the note of bad guys with backstories, did you see the new Mufasa movie?
I did not. The live action one?
Mm-hmm.
No, I did not.
Yeah. It's a great movie. Oh, yeah. Much better than the remake that they did, because you get the backstory of Mufasa. First of all, another guy that's kind of slept on, but and if you watch it, you should watch it. It's a great movie. Your kids would like it if they like animals, and it's also fun for us because we grew up with the Lion King story, and we know that story like the back of our hand. Right. This is the prequel to that, and how Mufasa became who he is. It gives you the backstory of Scar, how Scar became who he is.
He's not just some random mean uncle.
Mufasa's the man, dude.
He's legit.
Dude, that's the man right there. Simba, nothing compared to Mufasa. That guy, real deal.
Great.
It's a dad. That is a real dad right there. That is a Lowe's, Home Depot, F-250 dad. Yeah, that's Mufasa. You'll see it. If you watch that movie, you're going to be like, man, like this whole thing, this is Mufasa. Simba has nothing on his dad. Just trying to follow his...
Because I mean, Simba does a lot in his own right in terms of when he finally comes to terms with who he is. He fights the bad guys.
Yeah, but he had to try. There's a difference in like, and then whatever. If you do great things, that's one thing. But you could tell there was like obstacles and whatever. There's still, we're getting very into this, but like, but there's a difference, and there's people that are just born
Mufasa
to do certain things.
Great, huh? He just had the greatness thing.
Yeah, and didn't even really want it. But you watch it, and you'll be like, oh, dude,
right.
like, I get it. Like this, Mufasa was just born. He was one of those few people, and it's a fake movie. It's a line. I freaking get it. But there are people like this that they're just born a certain way. And that's just who they are.
Yep.
Whether they want it or not, they're not trying to do anything. Like Simba was trying. He's like, I have to be like my dad and I got to try to do all this stuff. Yeah. And I need to, like trying to follow in his dad's footsteps. But like, just watch it. Great movie.
His dad was just a dude's dude.
Yeah,
probably watch NASCAR on Sundays. Probably.
Oh, for sure.
He was a Jeff Gordon fan, I'm convinced. In a similar vein, I mean, the guys that we're talking about that are just dudes, these are the guys that run toward danger, right? They're not the ones that run away from when stuff hits the fan. They're the ones running towards the problem, not away from it, right? Had a moment a couple nights ago. Bree and I, it was middle of the night. It was just after 1 a.m. in the morning. Everything was normal, go to sleep, whatever. I wake up at 1:07 because I hear our alarm going off inside our house.
Your security alarm, not like your
home alarm. Like my house alarm is going off. And I look at Bree and she goes, it's the garage door, which is right over here, right?
Right.
That's the door into our house.
Right.
And I'm like, well, there's only one way to open that door. Something has to be in our house. Someone has to be in our house.
So now when you say your garage door, are you saying the actual front garage door like that you open to park?
No,
or the door that gives you access from your garage into your house?
Yes.
Okay.
The door that goes from our house to our garage. And so I'm sitting there thinking, okay, I'm about ready to tell Bree, like, hey, you need to call 911 because I don't know what's happening. Call the police. I go over to my safe, unlock it, grab my Beretta, and I'm like...
Now, were you kind of excited a little bit?
I wasn't excited because this is the part that I'm getting to, but I had that moment where I was walking down the hallway, right?
I am Jason Bourne.
No, I wish I felt that cool. No, I was walking down my hallway with my pistol drawn, right? It's ready to rock. Like safety's off. Like this is go time.
Yeah.
If I see someone walk through or like through these double doors I'm standing next to, because that's where my garage is, like, I'm ready. And I had that moment, like almost like a third, like out of body experience, like third person perspective for a moment. Like, is my life about to change right now?
Right.
You know, like I just, like I had that moment of like, is something about to go sideways? And am I ready to do everything I can for my kids right now? That's that's what was going through my head. Yeah. If someone walks through this door right now, am I really ready to put everything on the line for this right now?
Right.
And you know, it made me think. Long story short, I walked through the whole house. It was super windy that night. It was actually our back garage door. So we have a door that goes out through the back of our garage. Okay. Yeah. It was that door. And I just didn't catch that from Bree in the moment. She was like, it's the back door. It's not the one that came into the house. It's the one going out. Walked through my whole house, looked at all the cameras, didn't see anything. It was literally the wind. The door like didn't get closed all the way, but the alarm still armed anyways. So then when the wind blew, it opened it anyways. Right. So nothing actually happened. But it made me come back. But you got a little run through. Yeah. I got a little run through and I realized like I need to do more to be ready to protect my family. You know what I'm saying though? It was one of those moments like, not that I felt like I wasn't willing to give whatever I had to in that moment. Right. But like I want to be prepared as a dad for if any of those moments happen, I feel ready to go. Whether that's for sure. Honestly, what was going through my mind was like, what happens if my gun jams, if something like that doesn't work? Like I was thinking more in terms of like, I need to do like some jujitsu training or something, even just like a cursory knowledge of some hand-to-hand combat or some knowing how to use other weapons in my house. And it was a really sobering thought though. Like, because most of us, when we go through that type of situation, we think of it unfolding perfectly and things just going our way. Right. And I would say that that's just rarely the case. So it's just really interesting to have one of those thoughts as like a dad, like walking through my house at 1 a.m. with my pistol out, ready to go. Yeah. I was like, I need to practice more. I need to like train more. I need to be better about honing this craft a little bit
Have
more.
you walked through your house before at night from here and stuff?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Especially like there's been a few times where like the kids, Bree's taking the kids for spring break. They'll go down to her parents' house in Oregon for a few days and I'm here by myself. Absolutely. Turn off all the lights, walk through my whole house just to know what it looks like and be familiar with it.
Right.
Know where the shadows are, know what's supposed to be in certain places, know what's not. I don't know if that's weird. I don't know if every dad does that, but I've definitely done that.
You tell Bree, say, you know what, hon, that this incident really shook me, and I care about her safety. And I found a German Shepherd online that I think would be really useful. Just a backup alarm system.
Yeah.
You know,
a bloodhound, dude, is what I would go for.
And just see what she says with that. Like, this would just make me feel a lot more at ease.
Yeah.
If I had something to wake me up ahead.
Give me 160-pound German Shepherd that's just ready to attack.
I mean, that would be a tank.
Dude, that thing would be nasty. I love the regular looking German Shepherds. I think they're awesome. But in a situation like that, it would be sick to have one of those straight black ones. You know what I'm saying? Those things are sick.
Yeah.
So anyways, it was really interesting. Like I said, you don't plan for your alarm to go off in the middle of the night and have to be ready to go.
Yeah.
But it happened. And
the alarm adds a different element of stress. Did you have to get up and go shut it off?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so that can be a little stressful while that's going off, and rather than just like hearing like a noise.
Yeah, it wasn't just a bump in the night.
You didn't hear a clatter?
No, there was not a clatter. Nothing arose from a clatter.
Yeah, yeah.
It was like our alarm was going off. And there's only 3 doors that goes off for. And all of them are basically you're into our house.
Right.
If any of those go off. So yeah, that was an interesting little experience, I guess you could say, to walk through and just have that. But then on the other side, had a great experience following that, where on Sunday I got home from church. I was working, got home from church, came in the house, and this is just like the peak dad life, right? Both my kids are like, Dad's home, and they jump up from the table from eating lunch. They sprint over to me. Both of them jump into my arms and give me a big hug. And then Micah goes, Dad, NASCAR's not on, but we turned golf on instead. And I'm like,
well, there you go.
Bree was making lunch. She brought me out some food. And I was like, I did it. I have the perfect life. I got this.
Yeah.
We've achieved perfection, outside of having all the other things that are all wants and desires. Those are the things you can't just buy, And I think those are the things most dads actually want. Most of us want great relationships with our kids and with our spouse, and to come home to a peaceful home. And I got to experience just a little bit of that, and it was wonderful. And I did figure out how to get NASCAR on anyway. So
it is fun because the boys now, like, they're at an age with me where, it's all natural. You don't want to force anything on them. But like the attention to sports is just starting to stick more and more. With like, if stuff is on, they'll come and sit down and they'll watch. And the time they sit down stays longer. And there's even times, what do we have on? We put a lot of those, like, especially around dinner time after they're doing homework and we're, whether we're like sitting down like formally at the table together, or it's one of those nights where we're just like making hot dogs and they're kind of eating and me and Christina are, on the couch or doing something. Yeah. But a couple nights ago, we put on those YouTube like wallpaper things that have like a fireplace, or there's even like these like lo-fi things. Yeah, kind of a really colorful like cityscape and a balcony, and then like lo-fi music.
Just a nice little scene, yeah.
Yeah, and so we had that on a couple nights ago, and Jackson was sitting there, and I think we had burgers, and Jackson was like, "Man, come on, can we put on some football or something?" Like. He like just
got it, dude.
Yeah, I was like, yeah.
Let's go back to 2003 hardest hits of the NFL season video.
Yeah, but it's like, so today, Jaden has school pictures, so he had to like, dude, it was like the cutest thing ever. He has a white button up and he has to wear a tie because it's a private school, so he's like in his first tie, button up shirt. But he took his Dodger shirt after for pictures, like, because he wants to wear his Dodger shirt because he knows it's opening day and stuff, and so
it's fun, man. That's so fun.
They're pumped. They're really excited. Speaking of baseball, before I go into trivia, my Angel, the Little League team, we went through. We're almost halfway done with the season, but we were 6-1, and
feeling
we had
good.
one loss. We dominated pretty much everybody. We had one bad game against the Orioles, this other team in our league.
See, Orioles.
You could tell.
Gotta watch out for them.
You could tell too. another baseball guy, another baseball coach type of guy. You can tell he played.
Yeah.
And they're kind of like, I don't want to call little kids douchey, but like they're all in like stirrups. They got the kids like the little headbands. Some of them are in sleeves.
Dude, we always judged the stirrup kids in high school.
They all, but they're like they're the tryhards.
Yeah.
All the dads have Oriole jerseys with their last name on them, and so they're that. They beat us the first time we played them, and we did not hit super well. Well, we had a chance to avenge ourselves yesterday. And our only loss, hey, this is our only loss. It was this team. It was like, we can beat this team. We don't have the flash they have for sure, because I'm all about business. But, even during warm-ups, our kids were kind of screwing around, and I sat them all in the dugout. I'm like, look at over there. I said, they're all in line. I said, they're going to kick I told our kids, I said, they're going to kick our butt today if we don't figure this out. I said, do you guys want to win or lose this game? I said, they already beat us once. And they're all like, we want to win. So our kids were fired up. My coaches were fired up. So we line up on the baselines to do the national anthem. Dead silent, right? Everyone's quiet waiting for the national anthem to play through speakers. And one of their kids looks over to our team and loud goes, "The Angels suck!" Like says that.
Man.
So I was pissed. Our kids were like, "What?" And our kids started getting all into it. Their coaches didn't say a word to the kid. It pissed me off. It pissed my coaches off.
No way.
Yeah, dude. So after that happened, all my kids were like, we huddled up after the national anthem, and my kids were all just like all up in arms about this kid saying we sucked. And I'm like, hey, listen up. I said, we're not going to play that game. We're not going to talk to them. I said, they can think we suck. That's fine. Do we suck? And they're like, no. They're all like into it. It's okay. So I said, here's what we're going to do. I said, we show up, and if we play our best, that's all we have to say. If we beat them right now and we keep our mouth shut, then they can chew on that. And so, anyways, we got into the last inning, and we were chasing 3, and we were the away team. And so I'm looking at my lineup, and we're our bottom 4 hitters.
Tough spot to be.
Yeah, bottom 4 hitters. And I was doing the math in my head. My bottom 4 hitters, the percentage of us getting through the bottom 4 was not good. But I told myself, I need 2 of these 4 to get on somehow. Sure enough, 2 of them got on. And it flipped our lineup. We had 2 outs, chasing 3, and got to the top of my lineup. We put up 6 runs.
Let's
go. And then we went out on, and I changed. I set our lineup before the game, like the day before each inning. I have the kids at positions, and it's rookie ball, so I'm supposed to kind of get them all spread out.
Yeah.
I told my coaches,
positions.
Well, in my first inning, usually I have my best defensive setup, because when the top of the lineup hits for their team in the first inning, I like to have my guys in place, because there's a huge difference between like my guys that I can put at third, short. Like we had our first put out all season. I've actually never seen a put out in this league from here, where there was an actual ground ball hit to our shortstop, and the kid threw the ball in the air to our first base, and we caught it for a put out. Like that's a big deal in this league.
Yeah.
And so, but like that's what's capable. If I would have had another kid there that was not in my top infielding group, they wouldn't even fielded the ball. It would have been like they might have put a glove on it. But anyways, so I told my coach, I said, scrap this 5th inning. I said, let's go back to the first inning defense, because I want to hold this freaking lead and I want to win this game. And we freaking won the game. And my coaches were pumped. I was pumped. The kids were pumped. The parents were into it.
Yeah.
So
that's so
anyways,
fun.
We're now 7-1. I think we were 6-1. We're now 7-1. We got that monkey off our back. We beat them. There is, I guess, a playoff at the end of the season, and it's going to be us and that team. We're going to get to play them one more time. So hopefully we can keep it rolling. But there's definitely a little kid rivalry. My kids do not like that Orioles team.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So, anyways, but all right, enough of Little League. I got some trivia for you.
Yeah.
This is a fun one, and I'm curious to see what your thoughts are on this. It's just one question.
Okay.
So, which state has the most? What percentage of cars on the road are pickup trucks? Not semis, not trucks. It's the highest truck ratio, whatever, per capita in the United States, but there's a percentage. I don't need the percentage. I want to know if you know what state. 37% of the vehicles on the road are pickup trucks, which is high. I mean, that
feels like a lot.
It's double the national average.
I'm trying to decide if this is going to be a surprise, or if I just need to stick with the states that are coming to mind.
I would stick with states coming to mind.
Because, yeah, I mean, what comes to mind is Montana, Wyoming, probably North and South Dakota, like those areas where you're in rough terrain, it's better to have a truck, and there's a lot of hardworking people in those areas. Like that's what's going through my brain. Because as much as Eastern Oregon has a ton of trucks, I think the west side with Portland and all that, there's just no way. There's so many more people there. I don't think it's that. I think
Okay,
I'd be
so those 4 states you just listed, you ready for this, are all in the top 5.
That's what I figured.
If you had to throw a 5th state in that group, what state? If another state now, because you said Montana, Wyoming, North and South Dakota. That's
Idaho
those
would
4.
probably be the other one.
That's the other one.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to say Wyoming. I'm going to say Wyoming. That's it. That's my final answer.
Final answer? Wyoming is correct.
Yeah,
it's Wyoming.
Let's go.
37.1% of the vehicles on the road are light-duty pickup trucks. You have Montana at second with 34.7, so they're right there too. North Dakota's got 32.2, Idaho's 29.3, and South Dakota is 28.8.
Because I thought for a quick second, I was like, I wonder if it's one of those states down in the South, like a Kentucky, Virginia, Tennessee, one of those. But they all have major areas that I think have more cars because of tourist stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's got to be up here in the mountain states, dude. It's got to be the mountain states. Because you just drive around in snow and all that. So Wyoming.
Yeah. A lot of hardworking people, like you said.
Hardworking people, Staines.
Mike Trout is up for his second at bat right now, so he's still in the game. He made it through the.
Oh, that's good.
I don't know if we were recording when he got hit, but he got hit by a pitch on his first pitch of the game. He hit on
that
the.
Was
head
in
for
the or
Angel.
We were
Angel
recording
White
the sports episode.
Well,
I think when that happened.
So Mike Trout update. If you listen to both, he's still in the game.
Yeah. Happy opening day to everybody listening.
Yes.
We are very aware that it is opening day.
Yes, it's actually.
Baseball.
I'm still watching it right now behind my computer.
Dude, I'm so excited because we got we're gonna be making sliders. Basically, it's turkey with bacon and then this like brown sugar, honey, mustard sauce that goes over it. So we're gonna make some slider. We're gonna make some like chili cheese fries.
Oh, there you go.
It's baseball.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to stop at the store, though, and get a 6-pack. I've been trying to do better about eating, so I haven't had beer in my fridge in months, dude.
Yeah.
But opening day calls for a special.
For sure. Yeah,
special,
absolutely does.
I got to go pick up a 6-pack of something and hang out and watch some baseball tonight. So
yeah.
Even though I don't have a team still, but.
I can't. You're just floating around naked, dude. I don't know how that's possible with baseball.
Here's what's
Mike Trout
interesting.
just hit a bomb.
Did he? Crushed one?
Nope. He popped out to the warning track. Never mind.
If he didn't get hit in the hand, it might have went out.
I know. Probably would have gone out.
I bought MLB The Show 25.
Yep.
And you know at the beginning it asked you what your favorite team was?
Right.
I found myself picking the Braves.
Really?
I didn't want to pick the A's. I picked the Braves. That's what came to and nothing
I'm
else
a little upset
felt...
you haven't stuck with Dodgers, but I get it. It's okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It just nothing else really felt right in the moment. So I ended up with the Braves. So all that to say, I don't think I'm a legit Braves fan. Like, we had a very big moment on this podcast when you switched from UCLA to being a Texas fan. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Yeah, I did.
It was a big moment.
Did.
You deleted UCLA off your ESPN app and put Texas on there.
I don't even follow the social media. Went back to Texas, and I
Yeah.
still follow.
I have not gotten to that point yet,
Yeah.
so I'm still not there. So I can't say I'm a Braves fan yet.
You were an A's fan though a lot longer than I was a UCLA fan because I was not a UCLA fan until probably 2014.
Yeah. I mean, I've been an A's fan since I was 9 years old, going to games.
Yeah, that's
I've
a little different.
I'm looking at 24 years of fandom that are changing from.
Yeah.
So it's a little different, but yeah. So, anyways, baseball.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna be 35 this year.
35,
which is pretty crazy to think.
So
being 35, you know, we've talked frequently throughout this podcast about just aging and getting older and how you change. I mean, physically and mentally, and you know, so we had thought about we have had a 10-year conversation of if we could beat ourselves up from 10 years ago, and you and I both seem to think that we could beat ourselves up from 10 years ago. I actually even think more than ever now, for sure, I could. But after we provided ourselves with a butt whooping, if we sat down with said individual, what's some advice that we would give ourselves from 10 years ago? Because there's a lot, dude. I think, I mean, I'm sure if you took 10 years of life, if you took those windows and, you know, I mean, we could do this in 10 more years and sit down 45 with a 35-year-old.
Yeah.
Right. But I feel like the jump from 25 to 35, you're going from kind of still a kid to like, okay, I've been an adult now for a couple years.
Yeah.
And so I do think these are really important, like key years for men.
Yeah.
I think family men specifically, you know, because that changes everything too. If if you and I were still single and we're still, and there are people, everyone's on different timelines and different seasons and stuff. I think the change would probably be a little less. Mm-hmm. But like our perspective of having, you have 2 kids, I have 3 kids, and we've been married now for 9 years and 8 years. Right? Just a lot. So what are some things, we don't need to do a list. We can just kind of talk through this, but what are some of the stuff, what would you tell yourself aside from investing in Bitcoin?
Yeah. Or just, I mean, because this would have been pre-COVID, this would have been pre-kids. I mean, invest in big pharma, because I think COVID came around. I could be a millionaire if I were to put $25 in Pfizer. Man, could have been huge. It's okay. You guys can go play. No, sorry.
Ooh, no more screen time.
They just watched all of Finding Nemo, so I feel like we don't need more. So
it's a great
one
movie,
of the
by
things,
the way. It's an all-timer.
All-timer for sure. One of the things I would tell myself, again, because this is pre-kids too, this is pre all of that stuff. I mean, if I'm being a little more on the satire side of things, I would have said try to buy a house sooner.
Yeah, right. Seriously.
But on a more just like serious note of what I would tell myself is probably like start figuring out how to not be so selfish.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds crazy, but literally one of the reasons I was not ready to have kids when we did was because I genuinely loved the life I was living, and I just didn't want it. I knew it was all going to change. I just knew it was going to change, and I didn't want it to.
Yeah.
And I was just super selfish. I mean, golfing 3 times a week. If my buddy called me and said, hey, I got friends in town, we're going to go to this place and grab beers at 8 o'clock. I'm like, dude, I'm there. I'll see you there.
Right.
It was so much easier to go and do whatever. I think I would tell myself to practice just being less selfish.
Okay, hold on. I don't think that's, I don't think it's selfish. It's just a seasonal. You were able to do that.
Well, I'm not talking about those things. I'm not saying I shouldn't have done those things. What I am saying when I'm saying don't be selfish is, or practice not being selfish, it's for when I have now having kids and knowing that I am living my life for them.
Right.
Like having to practicing and knowing how to make that transition better. Because I fight with that a lot. Because I remember how I used to live. And I'm like, gosh, I want to go do that stuff still. But I have kids.
And if you did all that stuff now, that'd be selfish.
It would be super selfish. But it's still hard finding that tension, all those things. So I just think, man, if I could have practiced and being a little less selfish earlier on and been a little more self-aware to be ready to move on with a family, I think it would have set me up better. Because now I still wrestle with that stuff where I get easily frustrated because I'm trying to get what I want and the kids are trying to get what they want. And it's just, it's fight. So, I don't know. There's probably a better way to describe that, but that's just one of the things that comes up.
I think it's a pretty normal thing. And I think it's, at least for Christina and I, there's trying to find that balance. Because some of that's healthy in doses still. Like, you still have to be able to go out and do stuff. I mean, you'll lose your freaking mind if you don't. That's why, I do try to get out and golf like once a month. And I mean, I know it's kind of silly, but I have softball every Monday night, and like that's a huge out for me. Is I just get to hop in the car and go have my alone single. I mean, not sing, but like I'm alone and I can go do my thing. Yeah. Now I can't go out for beers with my team after like I used to do. Again, that's kind of part of that, but I still get to go and enjoy that stuff. But I think that's a big one, man, because I remember when I was married, when we first got married, probably for our first year and a half of marriage, there was a lot of times when you wrestle with that going from like, I'm used to being alone or single. I'm used to being able to choose whatever I want to do.
And create your own schedule. You could literally make it how you want to.
Right. And then now when you're married, there's this other half of you now where you're like, okay, they don't want to do this. I don't want to do what they want to do. But now, is there compromise that can be made, or do we pick literally one of the things that one of us wants to do? So, I mean, it's a kind of a hard line, but I mean, if you can figure that out sooner and being willing to just let a lot of that go. And dude, some of this stuff too, like a lot of it's just stupid stuff too. And I know this is not talking about like confrontation with your spouse or your wife, but like if I would have grasped that younger of kind of letting yourself, the single version of yourself go. You get in a lot of stupid fights when you first get married.
A lot of.
It's like, we're just so dumb. And we've talked about this, like, from even with sports. Like, I would have sports on all day, nonstop.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. But even kind of that, like, I think sometimes, like, there are times when I'll have a game on and I'll just shut it off because I'm like, I don't need to watch this. We've talked about Thursday Night Football, and it's the Panthers and the Texans. I'm like, I could give a
might
rip.
watch it because it's the Texans, but yeah, Panthers Browns. I'm not turning that.
But
on.
this is not. But this is not like. This is not super
Packers,
necessary
Chiefs or anything. Yeah.
Right, but I mean, I can just shut it off. I don't care. I'm gonna have a lifetime of football to watch and stuff like that. But I had a hard time letting go of that.
Yeah. Yep.
Like when I first got married, because I'm like, well, this is what I do, and it's like, okay, well, like,
yep.
Your wife is also here, and we have a small apartment.
Yeah.
And I'm sure your wife doesn't want to listen to Al Michaels, every day.
He was pretty solid.
You'd think she would, but
I get so, which is maturity, though, right? That's maturity. That's growing up, right?
Right.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah. One of mine would have been, I think, just like, I guess I was going to say it's not really finances, but it is. But like more particular spending, I guess, would be like there's a lot of stuff that I'd buy back then that I just like, I wish I would have saved some. Yeah. And I just didn't need it. And now I don't do that. Like, we were talking video games earlier. I used to buy every single new year of a game. Every year. I had Madden 16, I had Madden 17, then Madden 18, Madden 19.
I had $400
NBA.
Right there, dude.
I remember every year for Christmas, Christina, for the first 5 years of our marriage, would get me, or while we were dating, even not even married, she would buy me the new NBA 2K game. So I had 2K16, 2K17, 2K18, and that was like, and I knew for Christmas I was gonna probably get that. Dude, I have not bought a new. I still play. I did buy Madden 24 last year, so I did buy that. But that was coming from, I think the last Madden game I had was Madden 21. So I'd waited 3 years. I still play my NBA game. I still play 2K21. I still play it. Like, and I have a franchise on that game though, where I'm not playing the current rosters. It's like all the, like what I play is I play the superstar eras. Mm-hmm. So I like the league is like, there's a team that has like LeBron, Dwayne Wade, Carmelo, Dwight Howard, Kevin Love.
Yeah.
Derrick Rose, like they're all on one roster. And then there's another team where it's like Magic and Bird and Worthy and all those superstars. So, the teams are all loaded with all the superstars from every decade. And then like that's fun to play. Team. So for me though, the updated rosters that matter. Right. Like I don't need the newest rosters because I'm using old players. Like the team I play, it's the Sonics, but I have like, you'll like this, my starting lineup. And this is kind of a little rabbit hole, but I have Shaq at center. Tim Duncan's my power forward. Tracy McGrady's my small forward. Wow. Kobe is my shooting guard. Steve Nash is my point guard. And then my backups, Kevin Garnett comes off the bench for Duncan or Shaq, depending on foul trouble. Vince Carter comes off.
Jeez.
Allen Iverson. Those are my main bench guys. So, but all that to say, like, I don't need to buy 20 NBA 2K 24 or 25. I don't play it the same way. And then I have MLB The Show 21 still. And I just adjust the rosters as need be, whatever. I have to make James Outman. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
But I do, and I still play that. So, but again, going back to my point, like, just like not spending money on kind of the stupid stuff, I could put that money elsewhere. And if you look at like, now at our age, just as like peak finances, if you don't have your shit figured out now, like you want to figure it out because in 10 years, our kids are going to be in their older teenage years. And so just getting a head start on like the little things of like, let's just save some of this. I don't need, like you said, that's like $400. I don't need that. And so, that would be a small one. It's just knowing what I'm spending my smaller amounts of money on.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. And to go along with that, not just finances, but in a similar fashion, I wish I would have started picking up heavy circles sooner and been more serious about that. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, for those listening, I'm talking about working out and lifting.
Yeah.
And lifting weights. Dude, 25. I'm 34 and I'm looking at what I can do. And I know there's some old man dad strength, right? That's coming into play for sure. But I'm like, dude, what could I have done if I spent the last 9 years just lifting consistently? Where could I be right now? I'm at like a year and a half only of doing this consistently and
on a 34-year-old body. Right.
On a 34-year-old body and feel way, way, way better. I'm like, man, what could I have done when I was 25 to 30 if I was putting in this kind of effort and intentionality? Where could I be right now? Just in terms of not just huge, but like just more cut and more lean, and then you start adding on the dad strength after that. You know, if I'd been taking 180 grams of protein for the last 9 years every day, oh my gosh. I feel like I'd be in such better shape than I'm at right now. And I wouldn't even say I'm in bad shape right now. So
you'd just be at a different spot.
I would be in a much different spot. Dude, I was away 2 weekends ago and we were playing basketball. I could still get up and dunk. And most of those other guys my age couldn't even jump, let alone think about putting a ball up by the rim.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah.
And that made me feel pretty good. Like,
no, health is a big thing. If you could, you know, get with it. I do think, fortunately for us, we are young enough to where, like, we can still kind of...
You can still make some changes now, and it's okay. Right. But I'm just, you know, it's one of those things, like, man, if I could have had 9 years of work in now, dang.
Right. How different it would be.
Dang.
Yeah, for sure.
I just think about that. So...
Yeah, I think that would be a big one for me, too, would just be my pphysical health. And I even think my mental health, of, like, you know, because, like I said, as I've gotten older, I've taken different steps, and we've talked about mental health in the past, but when you're younger, you process things differently. You don't do things the same way. You don't think about things in this, you know, in the same light. And so, But I even think for myself, like, my mental health was so bad 10 years ago. Like, it was awful. And wishing that I had the tools then, because I think if you figured that out then, that also affects so much of your life, is how you are making decisions and what you're letting affect the decisions you're making. And if your mental health is bad, which mine was, I feel like sometimes I have to go easy on myself, because I'm like, I feel like I set myself back 4 years.
Sure.
Because now I'm able to do way more stuff and function, you know, how I'd like to function. So yeah, I think overall health, dude, is a big, huge thing for us. But I do think overall, though, we turned out okay.
Yeah, I think I'm doing all right. The only other thing, this would be my last thing I would have told myself at, 10 years ago, if I was 24, I would have said, take some golf lessons. Take some lessons now.
Yeah.
Because I moved up here. I moved to Yakima when I was 25, right? 2015.
Yeah.
Or technically
10 years,
24.
Dude.
I was 24 years old, turned 25 that September in 2015 when I was here.
Shoot.
I would have told myself, hey, start swinging the sticks and get some lessons and get the swing down right now. Because it kind of, in a similar vein to working out, I know it's not the same, but imagine if I had 9 years of better practice in my golf game right now where I could be.
Yeah, no, it's true.
I'm not saying it would be like astronomical or anything. Like I'm not saying I'd be like scratch or anything like that, but I would feel like I'm already in the 80s, you know?
Yeah.
Pretty normally when I'm not playing with a different set of clubs and having lost a wedge and, certain other circumstances that make me shoot in the 90s.
Yeah.
But if I was doing that, I feel like I'd be sniffing 70s most of the time if I had 9 years under my belt.
Yeah,
low 80s, sniffing 70s. I would just think I'd be in that area. So all that to say, I would have told myself, hey, get some lessons, invest in Pfizer, and start looking for houses.
Yeah, no, all real things. I mean, I made a joke about the Bitcoin thing, but man, if you could have a 10-year glimpse of the investments to make, because there's something out there right now. There's something
gonna
sitting
pop
right
off.
now.
Yep,
I know, and that's how you want to get rich. Just gotta hit that right. So, anyways, all right, guys. Well, hey, episode 106. I think you can always have stuff to get better on, but I think we are where we are now, and you make those decisions. So, episode 107 we'll have out next week for you guys. I'll have another sports episode out next week too. So stay tuned, check that out, and we will see you guys next week.